How you doing? So we're down at the press centre in Liverpool, and we've just watched through what have we watched through?
Semi-final.
The first semi-final.
Yeah. Dress
Dress
rehearsal.
rehearsal. I get so confused with the shows. That's my age showing. But yeah, it was really, really nice to actually see a full run through of the show. Obviously, there's kind of lots of stopping and starting because they're still rehearsing, lots of different elements. And I know some of you will already have heard about the kind of the change in format of selecting, of announcing the semi-final qualifiers that they tried today, which isn't actually going to be going ahead in the show tomorrow. And the BBC and the EBU have confirmed that. But anyway, let's talk about the songs. We're not going to go through every song individually, but I think first we'll talk about our standouts from the rehearsals today. So I'm going to come to you first.
Okay. My standout was definitely Switzerland from this semi. I've always loved this song and I've loved Remo as a performer, but seeing the full kind of package on stage with his dancers really kind of solidified it for me that I think Switzerland is going to qualify. I think it came across very well on the stage. It came across well on the camera as well. And I think I was very impressed by what I saw and heard from the Swiss team.
Yeah, for me it would be Malta. I love all the changes. I love how dynamic it is. It's impressive, and like the charisma Dave showcases on the stage with his dance moves. Because we've seen him in real life, and then he just switches into this dancey, shy, but also rocking out persona. Dance. I like it very much. I think it's very dynamic. It's very eye-catching, and I love all of the elements on the stage and how all of the busker members show their individual personality, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it would be really obvious if I went for Malta too, but I'm just having a look at our list. But I have to say, actually, Azerbaijan as well, the vocals in Azerbaijan were fantastic today. Really love hearing the boys harmonise together, but I think I have to go with you, Clara, and I have to say Malta was a bit of a standout for me as well, and I'm not being biased, because actually it is a really fun performance.
Oh, yeah.
To watch. It's so bright and colourful on that stage. You can see the boys just being themselves, having a really good time. You know, we're not going to get the most amazing vocals from Malta every time, but it's not necessarily about that. It's about kind of showing themselves as a threesome, having a great time on stage. Fantastic. I have to say, probably the best staging I've ever seen from Malta.
I think I would quite possibly agree with that statement.
Yeah, and you know a lot about Malta at Eurovision, because they're a country that you generally
Of
like.
course. And even in junior Eurovision, like, they're just bringing it all round.
We also have to talk about Israel, because we got to see a full run through. I know, Clara, it's in your top 3 as well this year.
Yeah, but after seeing the whole, I think it's amazing, but after seeing the whole performance, the whole 3 minutes, it's not, I don't think it's in my top 3 anymore. But because there's other countries that are not performing in this semi that have shown a really real glow up. But Israel, I have to say, I love the visuals. I love the square element that tilts. I love her as a performer. I just think that the song goes through many different songs in one, and they might not be connected in the best way to my personal appeal. But when she starts saying, "Do you want to see me dance?" that part until the end, it's epic. It's like the song changes so much, it grows up so much, it's amazing. I really like it.
Yeah, but the vocals from Israel today were really fantastic, on point, I would say.
Yeah, I think probably, in my opinion, maybe the best vocals we've seen from semi-final 1.
Yeah, you got any more to say about that? Yeah. You always look like you're going to say more, and then you never say more.
Sorry.
But we obviously had kind of 3 of the favourites in the semi-final as well. We had Norway, we had Finland, and we had Sweden. So let's start with Norway. I was maybe a little bit underwhelmed by the staging. For me, it looks quite dark. We know it's a rehearsal, so they're going to be holding back with the vocals, but I didn't really get the impact I was hoping for from kind of Norway's performance today.
Yeah, for me it was the same, and she felt not so comfortable on stage, but the whistle note was there, surprisingly. I thought that was the part she was going to leave out, but maybe that's in her nature to do it so effortlessly. I thought the same. I thought not that the staging was dark, but it felt a little bit empty. And I don't know, there was something that was not connecting with me. And I love this song, it's on my playlist, and I get such a kick out of it every time. But it wasn't there today.
I'm going to probably disagree with both of you, actually.
Okay, so on to...
I really loved Norway's performance. I thought it was very high energy. I loved the way that all of the choreo came together on stage, especially with the backing dancers in these kind of pole lights that they have. I thought it looked great on stage, and I think she sounded good. I think maybe she was holding back a little bit in her vocals, which is understandable. But overall, I love the whole kind of package that we're getting from Norway this year.
And talking of packages, let's talk about Croatia.
I actually loved it. I thought it was really. Normally, we tend to see Croatia as like a chaotic, colorful mess, but no, it came together really well. I think the vocals and the music track were like level-wise, they were really on point, and it was entertaining to watch. It's still crazy, but it is entertaining to watch, and the vocals are there. I liked it very, very much.
Yeah, I have to say I really enjoyed watching Croatia's performance. A really clever transition from when the guys are on the stage to them being on the small stage as well. It looked kind of flawless to me. I'm still not overly keen on kind of the underpants reveal. I think it is a little tasteless maybe for me, but everything else with the performance I really, really liked.
Did you prefer the outfit reveal of the national final or the ones we've seen in the pre-parties?
I just don't really like when we're talking the underwear reveal. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but I can see it's like an audience attention grabber. I can understand why they're doing it. Maybe if they were wearing some more exciting underwear rather than like your dad's Y fronts, maybe it would look more appealing to me. But anyway, Jess, I'm a bit scared about what Jess is going to say now.
I'm not the biggest fan of this song. Wasn't the biggest fan of their performance on stage. Yes, it's very colourful, very loud, very in your face, and it's definitely going to have a market, and I think it's going to grab people's attention, especially televoters, but it's just not working for me, I'm afraid.
Okay, well, let's talk about the two big favourites of Eurovision this year, Finland and Sweden. Let's start with Finland because we got to see Loreen perform first.
We start with Finland, you said?
Sweden?
Sweden.
Sorry, did I get the countries?
Well, Sweden was actually quite good. Like, visually, it was quite impactful. It's Loreen, she has a visuals on point. For me, the only thing that takes a little away from the whole impact that the Melodifestivalen performance was is the dimension of the box, because in Sweden, during the national performance, we did get the effect of like a sandstorm swirling on top of her, but it's not so. You don't get that effect with this smaller box. But then again, the casual viewer might not know this and they might be wowed. Because the visuals are there, definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree, actually. And I wonder if it's just because I knew what the staging at Melfest had looked like, why I find this a little bit more underwhelming. But I think what they have done really well is kind of the lighting and the LED effects that we get to see. I think that works really well. The vocals were good today as well. I know that some people that had seen the rehearsal clip were worried about the vocals, but as we say all the time, guys, the performers will hold back in some of these rehearsals. They will do particular rehearsals just for more technical run through. So it's not all about having fantastic vocals. And we saw lots of kind of technical rerun throughs today, especially with the presenters, because we got to see the presenters in action. We will talk about that shortly. But Jess, Sweden.
Yeah, I would have to agree with both of you. I thought Loreen did a great job on stage. Her vocals were good. All of the visuals and the colours look great. But I think having this kind of smaller, more square-shaped prop doesn't fully work with the performance. But like Clara said, a lot of the casual viewers probably won't have seen her Melodifestivalen performance. So I still think that it has the potential to do very well. But I wasn't maybe as wowed by it as I was by her Melfest performance.
I love when we talk about casual viewers because I just imagine people in like pyjamas and slippers. But anyway, we have to talk about the man, Karia, because it is, we're seeing this as a two-horse race this year. But Karia, so we got to see him a full run-through of the performance. Let's talk about the visuals first of all.
Wow, the visuals are there. The visuals are really there. It's dynamic, it's fun, it's energetic, it's crazy, it's party. It's literally, he just found the best slogan for his whole Eurovision journey.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, Cardi really is bringing the party on stage. Visually, it looks stunning. It's going to grab people's attention. But I also think, the style of the song and the mix of genres is going to kind of bring people in as well. But I will say I kind of think the first half of the song, when he's more kind of rapping, is better than the singing part towards the end. But overall, I still think he's a contender to win.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I completely agree with you on the first part of the song. So the rapping part was almost flawless, and I was watching it thinking, right, we have our Eurovision winner.
Yeah.
But then the vocals in the singing part, we don't know if he was holding back again. But yeah, the vocals in the singing part weren't fantastic. However, I think even if that is the case when it comes to the semi-final and the final, because we know he's going to qualify, I think the first half of the song alone would be enough to carry it through,
sure.
and the charisma and the personality that we see on stage.
But to be fair, we've seen him perform live in UMK, and he was singing that part, and I never spotted anything wrong. Maybe he is holding back for these rehearsals and for some pre-parties.
Yeah, and I think, because was there auto-tune in UMK?
I can't recall.
I don't remember.
I can't remember, but yeah, it did sound great in UMK, and you know, I think probably as an artist he wants to be able to show
Yeah.
that he can actually sing as well. So, as we always say, guys, they might be holding back. Another standout for me today, actually, I have to say, Moldova was a bit of a surprise.
Yes, absolutely. I had already written Moldova off because there's something maybe in the mixtape or like in the mix that they've put on Spotify that doesn't quite resonate for me. It's like very metallic, but here it felt really whole. The sound felt with good body, and I'm very fascinated by the shaman he's turning himself into. It's a total glow up from their national finals and the visuals he has us used to.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, this is such, I think, an epic performance in some parts. I love all the traditional elements he's bringing into the song and the stage performance. I think he looks great and sounds great, and it's something different compared to the rest of the stuff in the first semi, which I think is going to work in his favour.
Yeah, I can actually see this as a qualifier.
Yeah.
I think it's a standout just in the style of the song and the performance. I think they've got we're not seeing anything amazing with the staging, but I think it really works. And I think people will enjoy watching a performance like this. Now, let's think about maybe some of the countries that maybe haven't done as well as we would have hoped. So where are we going to go first? Are we going to Ireland?
Yes, Ireland. I love the guys. They're really fun to talk to and like hang out with. But this staging, like I love the staging, but there's something in the vocals. Sorry, I just can't. I think they should be better.
Yeah, I love the staging for this song. I think it works perfectly, but I would have to agree the vocals do seem a little bit weak, and I think the lead singer was quite nervous on stage in his dress rehearsal. But, you know, it is possible that he is saving his voice for the live semi, so I have high hopes that Ireland can pull it off.
Yeah, and this is one of your favourites as well.
Oh
this
yeah,
year.
of course. I'm still loving it just the same.
Yeah, I have to say, for me, the visuals are better than the performance or the vocal performance itself. We may see some improvements when it comes to, we've obviously got the jury show tonight, so we would be expecting kind of, them to be giving it all. Oh, no, sorry, not jury, because there's no jury in the semi-final, sorry. What are we calling it this year?
It's like a preview show.
Like a preview show. We've got the preview show. Okay, so we may be seeing some better vocals tonight. Maybe it was more of a technical run through for them today. But yeah, it wasn't one of my favourites that I saw today. And then one of the other countries that disappointed you.
Do you know what? I wouldn't say that there is one. I think
Not disappointed, but maybe underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed, I would maybe go for the Netherlands, perhaps. I think Mia and Dion sound great on stage and they appear to have a good chemistry. But for me, I feel like there's something lacking. I don't know whether it's in the song or in the live performance, but it feels like a little bit empty in places and there's something not completely drawing me in. Which is a shame because, I wish I could like it more than I do, but there's just something not quite right, I feel.
What I found out for me in this round of songs is that there's something I like in some songs and something I don't like. There's not one song that I love completely, but there's not one song that I think it's really bad, that I could see parts of the song that could save the whole entry.
Yeah, and also we had a bit of a, it wasn't an issue necessarily, but the sound and the video was slightly out of sync for us today as well, which may have kind of impacted some of our opinions today. I'm just trying to think of other songs that maybe underwhelmed me slightly.
Oh.
I thought you were going to...
Not so much the song, but more the staging, I would say, is Czechia. The staging is not working for me. It doesn't seem to kind of the staging and the styling doesn't seem to match the song, because when you look at their national final performance, their music video, I think it is very kind of more focused on that Slavic element of the song, with them all in traditional costumes and them being like individuals within the group. But the staging just is the complete opposite of that, and it doesn't quite make sense in my head. Like there's a mismatch between the message of the song and how they present themselves on stage.
Yeah, I have to say, I think there was so much I was hoping they were going to do with their performance, and they've not done any of it, really, and it probably is one of the ones that I would have said maybe a few weeks ago was a definite qualifier through to the final. Is now a country that maybe I'm a bit concerned may actually not qualify. Also, the vocals didn't sound fantastic to me today, but we have seen them give good vocal performances. And I think what's the issue, maybe it's a sound issue because they're not sounding united in the vocal performance, whereas I've heard them perform before and they have sounded kind of united when they're singing. So it may be a sound, it may be a technical issue, but yeah, I worry for Czechia, and I thought this potentially could have been one of their best years.
You know who I worry, but now less, that after I've seen the rehearsal, it's Latvia, because now they have these explosions on the floor or on the graphics that goes in sync with some some song hard when the song hits hard, and I actually like the staging more than I thought I would.
So you're more worried about Latvia?
No, I'm less.
Oh yeah, actually Latvia's a really good one to talk about, because if we're talking about ones that I was probably most impressed by, I have to say it was probably Latvia today, actually. One, because the vocals were absolutely flawless. I cannot put across how it just sounded like you're listening
to the track.
It sounded like you were actually watching an official music video, sound and visuals.
Yeah.
The staging for this, for me, looks absolutely beautiful. I'm going to use one of your words.
What?
Elegant.
Ah.
But yeah, for me, it just... And the staging itself was standout enough for me to now think that actually Latvia have the potential to qualify. When if you'd have asked me a few days ago, I would have said maybe not. And I think possibly people would see if Latvia do qualify, they will be one of the shock qualifiers this year. But I think deservedly so, because I would actually love to see a song like this in the final. I think the viewers of the final deserve to see this staging and this performance, because it really, for me, it was stunning.
Yeah, totally. I never had this down as a qualifier before, but after watching their first dress rehearsal, it just looks so like I don't know. Hold on.
You keep going.
But yeah, I never had Latvia down as a qualifier before, but after watching their first dress rehearsal, I've completely changed my mind. Not only do they sound great on stage, but they look great on stage. And I think this song really comes to life on the stage, because more so than just listening to the studio version. And I wouldn't be surprised if this actually qualified in the end.
Just to let you guys know that we're tired and we're not editing that bit out either. So, but yeah, probably one of the countries I was most impressed by. Let's talk about Portugal.
Portugal, I think there needs to be they need to amp the energy slightly, but I think it's good. Like she's a fantastic vocalist and she's really entertaining to watch. I thought some of the camera shots were a little out of sync but maybe it wasn't the volume, because it was like the image was a little, I would have liked the cuts to have happened before, but I think that's something out of Portugal's control.
There was two halves of Portugal today. There was the half where I was a bit worried that it wasn't really filling the stage, and that surprised me, because it is, it's a very visual performance, but I just felt like it was all based on lighting, and I think they could have added some LEDs maybe to enhance part of the performance. However, when we do have the LEDs, especially I think it was on the floor, wasn't it? And we get like this big kind of explosion of red, and we get like the sexy, the sexy dancing. I'm like, this is exactly what I was kind of expecting all the way through. So that would be my only fear for Portugal, is that maybe it doesn't fill the stage the whole of the time. But I think they can deal with that, like you said, with some of the camera shots. Maybe and some different camera angles.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that point. As great as Mimi Cat is, and as great as the song is, the staging is a little bit underwhelming, and it does feel like there's something missing. I don't know whether it's maybe the lighting or the graphics, but it just feels a little bit empty, which is quite sad to see from such a fun, upbeat song. But I do hope that kind of the casual viewer will look past that and just see a great kind of cabaret style song with a great singer and put it through to the final.
I'm actually pretty sure we've spoken about most of the countries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have we spoken about all of them?
No.
Oh,
We still
okay.
have Serbia if we want to speak about.
Oh my gosh, how come we forgot about Serbia?
For me, this is one that felt slightly underwhelming because I had such huge expectations. My only issue is that I feel that Luke whispers too much. He doesn't really sing that much. There are too many backing vocals on the track, and I miss hearing his song in a way that's not whispery.
Yeah, for me, he's still a fascinating performer
It is though, yeah.
to watch. I will say that when I first saw the rehearsal clip and I saw kind of the video game graphics on screen, I was quite excited, but I'm not sure if I liked them so much. And it's the actual graphics themselves. It's not the idea of having the graphics on screen, 'cause I think that's a really good idea. But it's the actual the kind of design of the graphics that maybe weren't grabbing me. But still, for me, this is such an exciting performance to watch. It's very similar to the national, to the Pesma
yeah.
za.
Eurovisia.
Yep. Is it hard trying to learn Eurovision in so many different languages? But yeah, similar. But for me, it's a bit of a glow up, and there's so much energy in the performance, and I think it's really going to grab people's attention.
Yeah, I would agree with Andy on this one, actually. I do think that Luke Black gives a great performance, and I'm loving all of the visuals on stage, the way that he kind of presents himself and performs the song. But the graphics we see coming up on screen, I'm not a massive fan of them, and I don't think they fully work throughout the song.
What I will say I love about Serbia, though, is the lighting. I think some of the best lighting that I've seen.
Yeah, I love the lighting. Actually, I like all of the elements on stage. For me, the graphics do work because the dancers with this splash of let's call it a splash of paint, or this flower petal bed. It's really when you look at the dancers and then you look up, it's very similar shapes. So I think it's visually very attractive, and the lighting is really good. And Luke has some acting skills there that I really appreciate.
One of the things that we really missed watching through this dress rehearsal, this dress rehearsal was an audience, and I think once we have an audience in there, as we will this evening, we'll one give the performers a lot more energy. And a performer singing to a live audience, is a totally different performance to what you would get here. That's why I think some of these rehearsals today may have been more technical, and they're looking more at a visual aspect rather than a vocal performance. And I've completely lost my train of thought, but I think that's what's really missing. And I think Luke Black's song, I think Serbia's song will be one of those that will benefit from a live audience. 'Cause I think once those lights start going off, and for me it does look spectacular, I think it's really going to get the crowd going, and that in itself I think is going to get him going.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see how some of the performances we've just talked about, they like energy, they like oomph. I think they will really
Finland is going to be completely
Yeah.
different with a live audience.
So now I'm really looking forward to looking at this next round of the show.
Clara, with your amazing memory, is there any other country that we've not spoken about?
No.
There is.
Oh,
Azerbaijan.
No, we did
already
them.
talked.
We did?
Yes.
yeah. But say it again. Tell me more.
Well, clearly I don't remember talking about them, but I loved their performance on stage, loved the way they look, but I do think the song is a bit forgettable and won't stand out especially being performed so close to like Sweden, Finland, etc. I think it's going to struggle, sadly.
Now, we also did get to see 3 of the big 6 performances, rehearsals today. But before we do that, we were also treated to the 3 hosts of the semi-final. So Alicia Dixon, Julia and Hannah Waddingham. I'm not quite sure how to say it. So first off, what do we think of the hosts?
I think, first of all, the opening of the show where we saw Julia sing was really beautiful.
Oh,
it brought
it
us
was.
to tears almost. It was so emotional, and there's like no visuals of the war or anything like that, but you could still feel like
It's about friendship and unity.
friendship. Yeah,
really.
yeah, and
Yeah.
the nostalgia and like I don't know. It just you had goosebumps. You and I had tears in our eyes. Oh my God, what a beautiful opening to Eurovision.
Yeah, 100% agree. That opening kind of sequence that we have, kind of telling the story that brings us to the stage, is just incredible in my opinion. And I think, well, for me personally, it's very emotional. And watching it just kind of really hit home to me that Eurovision is in the UK. Like, we're hosting, this is a UK show.
Well, it's a UK-Ukraine show.
Yeah, sorry, I should say that, yeah. And I'm like, still kind of can't believe that I'm in my own country for Eurovision. Like, you know, it's just crazy.
But it was very
Crazy.
very apparent from the start to the end that this is 2 friends producing this together, and the hosts even allude to that in some of the things that they're saying. You know, they say it's the first time that 2 countries have hosted Eurovision together, so they really are getting that point across. But back to what we're thinking of the hosts.
I think the hosts are great. I think they work very well together. They have a lot of charisma on stage. They have banter going on with each other, and you know, they do have some kind of jokes and laughs as well. But for me, I would say the standout has to be Alicia Dixon.
Yes.
Absolutely. She's so entertaining to watch. She's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And she's so well spoken and knows how to work the camera. She knows actually how to work the crew because she has no problem in like stopping something and like doing it again. And I love seeing that. I love seeing the human aspect or like the real people behind their stage persona. So that has been really fascinating for me to watch, and that's why I love Eurovision so much.
Yeah, no, she you know, if we have to pick one, I would probably pick Alicia as well. I mean, she did a lot of kind of the green room scenes tonight. Hannah and Julia were doing the qualifiers, but yeah, really impressed. And I think I have to say, actually, all 3 a great choice by the BBC. There was no awkwardness.
No fake romances.
No, and I'm not sure we're going to get that with Graham Norton either in the final. But yeah, really impressed with this hosting lineup. But we also got treated to Germany, France, and Marco Mengoni today. So let's start with I think Lord of the Lost were first for Germany.
No, it was.
Oh no, it's Lazara.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, Lazara was first. So let's talk about the good parts. I mean, it's so stylish, the lighting, the whole staging concept looks absolutely beautiful. There was just one thing missing for me, and that was her kind of getting down to the disco beat a little bit. She was quite still throughout, and I know that she's on this big platform, but what I really love about Évidemment is the kind of switch from the very vintage, classy to this slick disco beat, and I didn't feel like we saw that through her movement.
Yeah.
And that was really missing for me. But otherwise, visually, it looks fantastic. I do think we need to see her moving around when the disco beat kicks in.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, the styling choices, the kind of choreo choices, I guess you could call them, with this big long platform that she's on, I think is fantastic and works perfectly. The lighting and the colours, you know, are equally just as great. But when that beat does kick in, she's still kind of standing there, not really properly like moving.
It's all very
to
kind of
the,
like sweepy,
to the beat.
vintage.
And I think either the performance would benefit from Lazara kind of maybe dancing more in a way as best she can on that high platform, or adding dancers to the performance.
Even some like hip or shoulder movement, maybe.
She's, to be fair, I think she's tied to a pole behind her, so that's why she can't really move that much. But
Yeah, I'm not expecting. For me,
no, I
it's
mean,
not about
obviously
like kind of
like
doing
that,
proper
yeah.
choreography. It's just about showing that beat has kicked in,
Like,
and she
even
can
in
do
the
that with
YouTube,
her
like-
shoulders or her neck.
No, yes, I agree. And some of the vocals we heard were a little off key, but I have no doubt that she can totally nail them on the night that matters.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. If I was stood up on that big column, I don't know if I would be able to sing. But yeah, still so excited to see this again with an audience. I think
Yes.
this is going to be another performance
yeah.
where the audience really, brings it out of her. And with France as well as a performance, there's going to be so many technical aspects that they're having to work on. And because she's on her own, she might be on this big
Yeah.
column, but she's on her own. So it's the camera work is going to be so important for this performance as well. Then it was Lord of the Lost.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. For me, they were the best of the whole semi. Even if they're not competing in the semi, they were the best act I saw rehearse today. So on point, so sleek. I love the camera shots they have chosen because they're so symmetrical, so polished. And sorry, we don't know. They were so sleek, so polished, and so symmetrical, and it looked so professional. I love how every band member has a shot, and Chris's vocals were so on point, best vocals of the day.
Yeah, I have to say, we probably both agree with everything that you
Yeah.
said because it was probably was one of the best performances. But we also had, Marco, my new love.
I think Due Vitae is a great song, and I think Marco himself performs it very well on stage. I think he looks great and sounds great. And we do see the addition of, I think it's 2 backing dancers that appear to be kind of on a trampoline and going up and down at various times in the performance. And for me personally, it doesn't 100% work because I think the dancers are too far away from Marco. And you can just see these kind of 2 guys in the background going back and forth. And I think with the cameras, it's a case of do they focus on Marco or do they focus on the dancers right at the back? And it's not 100% working for me with the dancers, but he sounded great regardless.
Yeah, have we ever not heard him sounding amazing? But yeah, it was really nice to be treated to those 3 kind of national, those 3 big six performances from Germany, Italy, where are my teeth? Germany, Italy, and France. But yeah, how are we feeling after kind of watching through it? Are we happy with the production of the show? Are we happy with what the show is giving us?
Yeah, I'm actually quite happy. I expected it to, because it's BBC and I have such high expectations of UK, because we know it's like the land of music and bands, and it has a strong tradition of musical shows. I wasn't expecting to see those delays between image and sound, but other than that, I think I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I am wondering if that's a press centre issue, because we also had the same thing in Turin, actually, if you remember. So
No,
it might
but
just be.
also Alicia had some problems with her in-ears for some time, like she couldn't hear the beat and so on. They did fix it, but it was really fascinating to watch.
But she did actually say herself,
Yeah.
didn't she? This is what the rehearsals are for. But are we happy with the show?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely happy, and I think all of the viewers tomorrow night are going to be in for such a treat
Oh, no, we
with
can't
this
wait for you
first
guys to see
semi-final.
it.
And what a way to get Eurovision 2023 started.
Yeah, well, there we go, guys. Anyway, drop a comment down below. Let us know after you've seen kind of the rehearsal clips on TikTok, the longer clips that have been uploaded on YouTube. Who's your favourite? We want to know what you're thinking about Eurovision 2023. So drop a comment down below. If you're new to us, make sure you subscribe as well. Please go and follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. And where else can they follow us?
To your house.
Well, follow us around Liverpool. How about that? But guys, thank you so much, and we will be back. We have no idea when, but we will be back.
We'll be
Speak
back
to you soon,
Stay
guys.
tuned.
Bye.
Bye.